So today we are doing our 8th community video, and as you all know, these are my favorite videos to make easily. If you're new here, a community video is where I ask you guys to send me questions so that I can answer them in a video. And this time around, you guys really came through and you asked me some good ones, so just like last time, I'll be sure to make a part 2 to this video. Now before we get right into it, this is our first sponsored community video. This one's brought to you by Project Orochi. Project Orochi sells really nice Japanese-inspired streetwear. There are a few pieces that nod to For Honor, including one of my favorites, the Kensei tee. There are items in the shop that also refer to Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, like the Divine Dragon hoodie, and then there's my favorite shirt, the one I plan on grabbing, the Oni tee. They're hooking us up with a discount code, HEBYONRED, for 10% off, and yes, you already know who that's about. Now be sure to check out Project Orochi, and let's get right into it. Oh, Citra asks, how can they bring more players to the game? I'm tired of waiting 2 to 5 minutes for a duel. I'm not sure there's much they can do to continue bringing new players to the game at this point. The game is in its 3rd year, and UB has tried a whole lot to get more people playing. They've given the game out for free on Xbox, on PlayStation, on Steam, and on the Epic Game Store. The game's gone on sale a few times, and if you still get physical copies of games, you can pick up For Honor for about 10 bucks. I'm not going to sit here and say the game's dead, because it really isn't. There are still plenty of people that play this game, but For Honor will never see that quote-unquote siege-like comeback that people used to talk about. Maybe another expansion would work, but it'd have to be much more interesting to outsiders than the Marching Fire expansion, as the game didn't see much growth, if any, from it, at least from my understanding anyways. I think the Wulin just didn't appeal to many outsiders, or the expansion itself didn't include enough. There are still people who didn't even know that Marching Fire was considered an expansion and just thought it was a seasonal update. I think UB would have to make the game genuinely free to play to get people who haven't tried it out yet to try it, because the people who were interested in it are either still playing or stopped playing it after they received it for free or played it on a free weekend. Maddie and Cheese says, do you think they will do anything about Hitokiri's hyper armor? So many people in the community complain about her. Sorry if you've answered this question before. So Hitokiri has been a hot topic for a while. It's mainly either been about her hyper armor or her kick mix, but mainly I see talk about the hyper armor or HEBYONRED. And recently I've been seeing a lot of the top comments on my videos say something about Hitokiri being the easiest hero to play or something along those lines, but I'm not here to talk about that. To answer your question, they have talked about Hitokiri's hyper armor, and I do think they could visit it sometime in the future. A couple of months ago, they mentioned that they will look at Yorm and see how his armor works out, the 400 millisecond armor, and if it looks good, they could make the change to Hitokiri's armor to match Yorm's. Now that the season has played its course, I think Yorm's armor is just fine. I have no problem with Yorm's armor at all, and if they changed Hitokiri's armor to match Yorm's, I wouldn't mind that either if they gave Hitokiri a little bit of compensation in return. Hitokiri would still be a boring hero, but maybe people wouldn't be as upset with her after that change. I can't find the screenshot to this one anymore, but I think it was Mighty Matman who wrote this. He said, I look forward to these, thank you for these videos, and to that I say thank you, I appreciate that a lot. Oftentimes when reworks and improvements come to the game, feats tend to be left out. Are there any feats you change or replace? Some feats of course end up as a bad choice next to others, examples being Warden's Takedown, Raider's Slippery, and Conqueror's Uninterruptible, to name a few. In an absolutely perfect world, I'd love to see feats be changed up along with a hero when they got reworked or improved. I'd like to see them all receive unique feats, like what all the new heroes have been receiving since Marching Fire, as those are all somewhat creative and interesting. But the world isn't perfect, and that would probably take a whole lot of work on UB's part, not only would they have to create 4 new feats for each hero that fit the hero, they'd have to somehow manage to keep all of those feats fair and balanced as the game goes on, and try to make sure that said feats aren't too strong or too weak. And as we've seen with the current set of feats, they don't do that. Anyways, to answer your question about any feats I'd change or replace, the very first feat that came to mind was Fire Flask. Fire Flask is such a strong feat. It's better than its contemporaries, Catapult and Aerostorm. Catapult is pretty telegraphed and slow nowadays, and Aerostorm isn't much better. And then there's Fire Flask, which unlike the other two, doesn't need to be used outdoors, and it activates very quickly. Also, unlike the other two, it leaves an area of effect, the flames, that can block off an area and totally break up fights for much longer than the others. If I could get Yubi to look at just one feat, it'd be Fire Flask. I don't know, I think a lot of the feats could be looked at just so that there's more thought put into selecting your feats. For most heroes, everyone uses the same set of feats because there's usually one in each category that is just better than the others. Like, why would you ever take Slippery as a tier 4 over Fire Flask, you know? Holy Crusader says, do you look forward to the new Wulin hero? If the rumors of him having no bashes is true, do you think he will be a good addition and possibly a game-changing hero? Yeah, I'm still looking forward to the next Wulin hero, despite the leaks. Heroes are what keeps this game alive to me. I look forward to seeing what Yubi can do next, and I just hope that they don't disappoint with whatever they're releasing. I do think a hero can be good without some sort of bash. Look at Berserker. He doesn't have a bash and he's still regarded as a really good hero. If these leaks and rumors aren't true and he does have some sort of bash, I can't really be mad at that. Bashes just work in For Honor. I'm okay with it as long as a hero is good with a bash and not because of a bash, you know? It should be a tool, not the toolbox. I will use this question to say that recently Yubi may have slipped up and may have accidentally revealed the name of one of the variants for the Wulin Heavy. For their Twitch drops, I guess someone received a drop, and usually these drops would be named after the season. So it would say Vortiger drop during Black Prior season, or Sakura drop during Hitokiri season, and recently Holda drop for this season. But this time around, the drop said Sunda, which could be the name of the new Wulin hero. I'd assume the male variant. We'll just have to wait and see if that's true next week. I'm also really looking forward to seeing what this big Tiandi look like and what this stunning, chainable, unblockable counterblow looks like. Maybe that could change the way fights are played out. Brendan Nichols says, so Year the Harbinger has been focusing on the end of times and the catastrophes in the world of For Honor, and has been said to have had rumors of a new cataclysm. Do you believe once the year is over, some sort of massive change involving the so-called cataclysm will come to the game, such as maybe new stories and reworking maps to fit a doomed world? So I'm going to use this question to talk about the heaps of questions about the future of the game. Real quick, for the people who haven't heard the quote about the cataclysm, is right here in the Year of the Harbinger deep dive trailer that Yubi released near the start of Year 3.
There are rumors of a new cataclysm coming to the land of For Honor. Amid that chaos, new warriors emerge. Paria, characters with a much heavier background, seize the opportunity to rejoin their faction.
Yubi has been giving us the same old thing for a while now. They let us know that there's more to look forward to, but we don't know anything until after this season. There's a part of me that does believe that we'll get a Year 4, and that in Year 4, we can see the Wulin make their way into the faction war through some cataclysmic event. At the beginning of the year, we were sort of speculating that something cataclysmic would happen with the release of the Wulin hero to get the Wulin on the map. As you know, a Harbinger is a person or thing that announces or signals the approach of another. The another in this case would be the Wulin. This theory was strengthened a bit after we saw that supposed Wulin map leak, and if there is a Wulin map, where would it be placed? It wouldn't be in Ashfeld with the Knights, the Mire with the Samurai, or Valkenheim with the Vikings. They'd need their own place on the map. So I don't know. I think there could be a Year 4, and I'm honestly leaning that way, but We're just not sure yet. I'm not sure if they'd rework maps to make a doomed world. I do think if there's any sort of cataclysmic event, it would be all about the Wulin. Those are my thoughts anyways. Holy Thunder Eze or Easy asks, who's Kenobo do I gotta suck for a For Honor mid-fantasy RPG with all the gear in the current game and the mythical stuff from our illustrious outfits as quest enemies or NPCs? Killing Lycans, demons, and squid onis, talking to Medusa, Neptune essentially, and the Grim Reaper himself. Why is this not a thing? I was just talking about this the other day with a few of you guys. If the For Honor franchise continues or has some sort of spin-off that included some sort of cataclysmic event that thrusts us into an MMO light, or single player RPG, I'd be one of the happiest people on the planet. Of course, the gameplay would need a little more variety, but I think Yubi could mess around with the art of battle system and give us something that would be enjoyable to use against mobs or bosses or something. You know, just play around with the tri-directional combat and introduce new chains depending on where your stance is, you know, things like that. I'd be fine if they decided to make it more fantasy-like, or if they wanted to keep it grounded. Either or would work. I think a lot of us would just be happy to have some sort of RPG or MMO set in the For Honor universe. Psycho Hunter asks, do you pour the milk first or the cereal? It is law to pour the cereal first. You pour the cereal first and then you pour the milk. The only time you can pour cereal on top of milk is if you're pouring yourself another bowl. Anyways, that's all I've got for this video. As I said at the start, there were a lot of really good ones this time around, so just like last time, I'll make a part 2 sometime. And I'd like to have that done before Halloween and the big seasonal reveal stream, as we're 9 days away now? Before I bounce, if you're interested, in the description is a link to our Discord server. I've been really active in there recently, so if you use Discord and you like messing around, I'd appreciate if you thought about it. Also, Xbox players, there's a $150 Brawl tournament starting this Sunday held by Slaceon Gaming. If you're interested in that, all the info will be in our Discord as well in the updates channel. So join that and win. If not for yourself, win it for me. Anyways, I'm done now. As always, I do want to hear what you guys think, so be sure to talk to me down in the comments about anything we talked about in this video. And as usual, if you like the video, feel free to leave a like and sub if you're new, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.